So, our topic today is something that I think is going to really resonate with every single person. And it's going to resonate in two ways. You're either going to feel really, really, really excited, or you're going to feel like you just got a kick in the seat because this is what we need, right? And also, if you're really, really excited, then I'm going to challenge you to kick yourself in the seat again, right? So that's what we're going to get into. And you're like, Kayla, what are you talking about? And I want you to think about this. I heard this morning and it really sparked something within me. And it was talking about one of my mentors, she was talking about how 3 months ago, you created the version of you that's sitting here today. That's when that started in motion, right? And 3 months is just a time frame, right? Of course, this goes on and on and on and on and on, right? This version of you was created well before that. But we're talking about like the things that you started to do 3 months ago. You really started to see them today, the relationships, the where your business is, so many different aspects of that. So this can also bring up like whether you're thriving or you're stuck in this moment. This was created, right? You created this. So that's what we're going to explore. We're also going to explore how those next 3 months, that's on you too. Right. So if we're going into this concept and we're going into this understanding of we create our world and our environment and our experience, then we're going to start to actually break them down into these tangible numbers. And that's what really stood out is like we can all recognize, okay, my entire life has made me the person I am today. But when we break it down to a much more tangible number like this, like 3 months ago, like what you started doing or you stopped doing, created your environment today, we can really start to get on fire about that. And we can also really start to hone in on what needs to shift for us as well. So, really, really powerful concept. So, we're also going to be setting the intention of what we're going to cover today, and that's about embodied leadership, right? So, when we talk about this version 3 years ago versus today, we're talking about the type of leader you are. Right? It's about owning who you are. It's about owning where you're going. It's about showing up as that highest level of a leader that you can be, because whether you realize it or not, you are a leader, right? You're a leader in your business. You're a leader in your relationships. You're a leader in your personal life. It doesn't really matter. You are leading others. And so the question really comes down to, are you leading with intention? Or are you not showing up as a leader you want to be? So that's what we're going to explore today. And I hope you get excited about it. I'm super excited about it. Embodied leadership is something that I have been really exploring for myself, and it has really shifted something within me. Because when I'm looking at it from that experience and I think, would I hire me? Would I? Would I want to be my friend? Would I want to be led by me? And the hard, honest truth is, yes and no. And there are some areas I'm like, hell yes, I would want me to lead me. And then there were some other areas in my life and my more personal side of it. I thought, no, that's not who I want to lead me. Right. Very specifically for me in my personal fitness journey, that's an area I thought, absolutely not. I want to stay as far away from that leader as possible. And I thought, that's not what I want. If I can embody the leader I want to be in business, and in my relationships and my friendships and then, my motherhood, if I can be that embodied leader in those areas, I can sure in hell be that embodied leader in my own fitness journey. Right. So if I want to be that 1%, if I want to really wrap that together, and if I want to really show that I make my commitments to myself, I have to master this. And there's no way around it. And so if I couldn't answer 100% in every single area of my life, I'm the embodied leader. It wasn't it, because leadership isn't just a title. It's not just like you're the manager or you're the CEO. It's not about that. It's about how you show up daily. And that's why it's so relevant, all these different areas of our life. It's not just something we slap on, right? It's not just another one of those labels that we attach to ourselves. So you're always leading. Like I said, you're leading in your business. You're leading people to commit. You're leading people to trust. You're leading people to buy, depending on what you actually do. You're leading people to transform, right? You're leading people through transformation. For me, I'm leading people on a very transformative journey, like where they're stepping into this container where they can say yes, 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 yes to themselves, because they're removing all this junk in the way. Right. So we're leading people in all of these different areas, right? In our relationships, we're leading people in how they show up, right? We're leading people in communication. We're leading people to take ownership in relationships. We're just constantly leading, right? Personal growth, the work that you're doing, you're leading yourself in how you think, how you act, how you evolve, right? So you pick up the books and you're so dedicated to your mental health, but you're letting your physical health just go out the door. I'm sorry, this is going to be that kick in the seat I'm talking about. You're not an embodied leader. Yes, you're an embodied leader in some area of your life. I had to call my own self out on that. Yes, I'm fully embodied in my business. Okay, great. That's not good enough for me. I want that next level. That next level requires so much time and attention to my physical health. It requires a commitment. And if I'm not willing to commit there, then I'm going to have to be honest, right? That is what we're talking about here. That's the kick in your ass you need. It's the kick in the ass I needed, right? Embodied leadership means being that freaking version of you, the big version of you that creates momentum, that shows up and does exactly what she says she's going to do in every single area of your life. Do you understand that? Right? Every area of your life, not just parts of it. Right? Because our energy doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. It picks up on the fact that you committed to doing this. You committed to going for a walk. You committed, and I'm using health and physical wellness as a reflection because when I'm talking about this is one of the main things that people come up with, right? They're embodied in their business, or at least they're mostly, but other areas are falling short. So I want you to do that. I want you to look in your life. So if you look back 3 months from now, what do you see? Right. So you look back at 3 months from now and the commitments that you made to yourself. What are they? And we fast forward to today. Have you embodied that? Right? Are you showing that? Can you look around and see the fruits of that labor, of that commitment? Is it super strong or is it maybe not? Right. So we're going to look at those two paths. So we look back and you have this evidence, right? You're like, damn, I've been showing up. I feel it. I experience it. There's evidence of my growth, my shifts, my momentum. Freaking wonderful, right? Amazing. Experience that, celebrate that, live in that. Perfect. Okay. Now, challenge yourself and really be honest and say, is this 100% in every area of my life? And the answer is no. And it probably is. And if it's not, then you're not being honest with yourself. Let's just be real, right? We're human. And so, what area can you step into? What area can you really move that momentum in? Really, really powerfully to think about. Okay. And then the other area is I'm in the same fucking place. Gosh, Kayla, I feel exactly the same as I did then, except for now I feel more guilt and shame and resentment around XYZ. Okay. Right. Let's talk about that. Right. That's the gut check moment too. Right? You can have these all over. So you're not stuck. Right? You're not stuck with where you're at. So I want you to throw that out the window. Right? We're never stuck. We're just in a habit cycle, right? We're just doing things on repeat. And that, if we recognize that and we own that, then we recognize we can break that cycle, right? We can break that cycle of where we're at. So we look back and we think, yes, I made some commitments to myself, but I didn't uphold them. I'm not doing them. I don't look around, or even maybe I did do them, but I didn't really see a lot of changes. Maybe I did commit to this, and maybe I started saying I would show up on social media every day, but it's just not resonating. Like people aren't saying yes to my offers, or I'm not growing as fast as I thought I would on social media. Well, now we have to also check. Are you expecting that to happen? Do you fully believe in yourself? Do you believe in your offer? Are you trying to be someone that you're not on social media and people are feeling that energy? So there's also a lot more to these cycles as well, right? It's not always just I made the commitment and my whole life changes. It's like I made the commitment, I take the action and I keep making the changes and I move and I ebb and I flow along the way, right? So I really want to point that out too. So don't be like frustrated with yourself if you're like, I didn't make the changes. I did it, but I don't see the fruits of that. Go inward and say, what do I feel more peaceful about my business? Do I feel less reactive? Is it easier? Do I feel at more ease in my life? And if the answer is yes, then good for you. It's not always about more clients or more money. Those are just byproducts of that ease. And if we stay in that state and then we shift and we keep kind of shifting how we're showing up and the ways that we're showing up and the message that's coming out of our mouth, then we're going to keep attracting those people and they're going to come. It's inevitable. If you keep doing the things that you're doing, it is inevitable that people are going to show up on your doorstep, hopefully not your physical doorstep, right? But on your virtual doorstep and say, I want in. I want this. I want what you have. I'm attracted to your energy, right? I want that. So keep doing that and recognize that sometimes there is something inside of us that we need to reflect to shift. Okay, so we do this reflection and we've looked backwards, but now I want to look at what it's going to look like in 3 months from now. If you want in 3 months from now, if you want your life and your world to be completely unrecognizable, what do you think it's going to take? And this is very personal, right? It's a very personal thing. I can't tell you this is exactly what you need to do other than You need to make a commitment to yourself, and then you need to uphold that commitment, and you need to keep showing up consistently and consistently and consistently. But I can't tell you what that one thing is. You have to step into your own intuition. You have to step into your own knowing and say, I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm willing to do it. I'm so willing to do that. And because 3 months from now, you're either going to thank yourself or you're going to regret not moving. Period. Hands down. Those are your options. That's it. Which one do you want? Right? We're in a decision moment. What's the thing you want? What's the thing that you've been avoiding? What's the thing that you know you need to commit to today? And that would change everything in 3 months from now. It would change everything for you. What's that thing? Like, we're at a decision point. And when we're at a decision point, we have to make the decision. And then we have to commit to that decision. And then we have to recommit to that decision. And then we have to recommit to that decision. Oh, and guess what? We're probably going to have to recommit to that decision, right? That is exactly what it is. We have to keep going. Now, with that, just because you say one thing today doesn't mean it has to be the exact thing you are doing in like 6 weeks from now. There's a caveat to that, because what can happen is we make this commitment, we keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, and we're not willing to pivot and change. We don't change out of it because we think, oh, I committed to this. Okay, so how do we know when we need to pivot out because it's not working versus how do we know we need to pivot out because we're scared or we're pivoting from scarcity or we're worried that it's not going to take hold? And those are some questions that you can evaluate for yourself. Like if you're just putting it out there, and you're putting it out there and no one's saying yes, okay, you need to keep putting it out there, but maybe you need to change the language. Maybe you need to understand who you're actually talking to or who you're wanting to draw in. And maybe your language isn't matching that. So of course they're not showing up on your virtual doorstep because we don't know who's supposed to come. Right. So instead of just saying, oh, this isn't working and quitting it altogether, it's like, it's not working like this. How can I change that? What needs to change within what I'm doing to make it work? Because I know I got to show up consistently. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not getting around that. Or you need to be showing up on social media consistently, on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok, whatever it is. You know that if you're not showing up, people aren't hearing your message. Right? It's as simple as that. And then where do they go after they hear that message, right? But you know that it's rooted in consistency. So don't stop being consistent. Change what you're doing. Change the way you're doing it or what you're saying or how you're delivering it so it meets your clients or your future customers so they hear you. Right? So that's the thing that happens a lot, is that we get to this point in this decision point. We made this decision, we recommit and recommit, and then people still aren't saying yes. And so then we quit because we're like, well, that's not working. Well, it's not working the way that you're doing it. And so that's full acceptance. And that's where we have to be willing to not pivot away from what we're doing, but change the way we're doing it, change how we're showing up. And I can almost guarantee it's how you're showing up in it. I can almost guarantee that they're not saying yes to your offer because you're not showing up fully embodied as a leader you need to be for them to say yes to you, right? So your offer is probably amazing, but the way you're delivering it and the belief in yourself and your offer is likely not there. That confidence behind it is not quite there yet. So people do not feel confident in saying yes to you. And I know that may hurt. I know that may be frustrating. And I even know that may be hard for you to wrap your brain around, because you may be an incredibly confident person. You may think you're incredibly confident in what you do in your offer, but there might be some energy behind it that feels like maybe you're just not. So I want you to explore that too. Right. So also I want you to look at where maybe you've been playing small. Where have you been waiting instead of leading? Right? Where are you not leading fully in your life? You're only going to grow your business as far as you're willing to lead yourself. And that can mean so many different things. And it can mean so many different things to each individual person. And so for me, I could only grow my business as far as I was willing to lead myself in my personal life. Right? My business is growing. It's flourishing. Right. But I knew that was putting an income cap on myself because of my physical wellness. And I know some of you are like, that's bullshit, Kayla. Right. But for me, it is not, because for me, it was an important piece of it, because my energy levels are dipping. Right. If my energy levels are dipping, then I'm not my output, my overflow is not there. I don't have the overflow to give and give and give and give and create. So you better believe that my physical wellness directly impacts my business. And also I'm convincing and training my subconscious mind that I don't hold my commitments to myself, because I kept saying, I'm going to row tomorrow. I'm going to row tomorrow. I'm going to row tomorrow. And guess what? Every single day, tomorrow never came. So it does matter, guys. It doesn't matter how much you try to soften this for yourself. It matters. right? If you set a commitment to yourself, you have to do it, right? I have to hold myself accountable to that. Again, I reflect, am I the leader I want to be? Yes, in some areas and no in others. I want that to be hands down 100% yes in every area of my life. I want to be able to say that. And I want you to want to be able to say that, right? Don't cut yourself short. Don't play small. But it looks different for you. It can look different for you than what it looks like for me, right? But it needs to be your 100% truth, right? And if you're playing small in one area, it's going to impact another area, maybe where you're showing up big. Right, to really be willing to be truthful and honest with yourself about this. So you have to start leading yourself first. You have to make the move. You have to start posting. Right? You have to start launching, selling, investing, speaking up, getting on stages. You have to be able to do these things. I feel like a broken record, but it's that important, guys. Right? You have to be willing to commit, recommit, action, make the moves. Say yes, get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to show up like the person that you already are. Right? You already are that person that you want to be in 3 months. So start acting like it now. Start acting like the person you say you want to be and stop waiting for it to happen, because it's never going to happen unless you start doing it today. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no way around it. I wish there was. Wouldn't that be easier if it was like, okay, this is where I want to be. So that's who I am. But I'm going to take no action. I'm going to keep doing the exact same habits. I'm going to stay in the same cycles and the same beliefs and the same thought patterns. And I'm going to expect something to change. Well, I think we all know what that's called. That's called insanity, right? And let's be insane in a good way. Let's be so insane that we think that we're going to do something different and then it comes to us because we do the action, right? Because we do the insane leaps, because we take the insane growth and we believe so fully in ourselves. We say, yes, I'm going to make $33 million. And then we go and do it. Let's be insane in that way. Not insane in like the same habit loop way. Let's take insane leaps, insane belief in ourselves. Let's shatter all the paradigms that we've created for ourselves and step into that embodied leadership. So in 3 months from now, you say, who the heck is this person? Because you show up every single day with improvement. And not because there's something wrong with you, not because who you are today isn't good enough, but because there's always a next level. There's always growth. There's always this expansion. And not because we're not happy with where we are today. Right? This isn't about not being content. I'm incredibly content with my life. And since I'm incredibly content with my life, I can allow all of the abundance and the newness to come to me. Right? Because I don't need anything to change now. I could live exactly as I am today for the rest of my life and be incredibly happy. It's not about that. It's about knowing that you're limitless. It's about allowing that limitless to over consume you in a beautiful way, right? In an expansive way, in a motivating way, in an activating way. Right? We're not trying to change who you are. We're trying to get you to activate who you've always been, because that's who you know. That's this version of you that's here that you're dreaming of. You're already that person. I say this all the time. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need to fix anything. You need to remove those cobwebs that keep you small. Because if you're living under ceilings, if you're living under pressure, if you're living under overwhelm, if you're living under stress, then you're not living in an expanded state. And the expanded state is limitless. And that's why we're doing this work. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. So this is you. Now we have all this shit that you've piled on top of it, all these beliefs, all this conditioning, all these limitations, right? So it's not you that we're trying to change. It's your thought pattern. It's your belief. It's your attachment to all of these things in the external world that we want to remove so you can freaking step into your limitless potential. That's what we're doing here, right? That's embodied leadership. That's commitment to yourself. That's removing and rewiring the beliefs that you have in your head. Right? You don't become a leader someday. You are a leader today. You lead now. You're leading now, whether you like it or not. Are you leading the people around you? Are you leading the people in your business the way that you want to? Are you leading them in the small moments? Right? In the moments that not everyone is seeing, but you see. It's not about everybody else. It's about what you see and what you think of yourself and what you are committing to, and then breaking that promise over and over and over. Right? It's about recommitting to who you are, right? It's in those hard choices. It's in what seems like the easiest choices, but then they're not, because they're built out of habit. It's about the consistency of your actions. There's so much here. There's so much here that I want you to just to embrace and feel and experience. Because I promise in 3 months from now, you're going to thank yourself. You're going to say, yes, I got activated in that random podcast episode with Kayla. And I took the action. I was willing to see what I needed to see. And I was willing to shift out of that. I was willing to make the changes. It's a beautiful journey, beautiful journey. So I want you to really look, and I want you to really visualize that version that you want to be in 3 months from now. All the different aspects of it, what she's doing, what she's wearing, what's her experience like, what's the business like, all those things you typically would. Then I want you to remind yourself that you don't have to wait for 3 months. You're showing up today. Like today, you're deciding today that you're showing up that way, and you're showing up that way tomorrow. You're stepping into success today, whether the external world is showing you or confirming that it's there or not. I don't care. You are successful today, and you're embodying that fully, and you're allowing every single ounce and cell of your body to feel that success, that version of you that is limitless, the version of you that is that embodied leader, that version of you that in 3 months from now, my gosh, I'm not going to be able to recognize you, right? That version. But that version shows up today. Right. And then you start to remove anything that feels like it limits you from experiencing that. Then you're going to notice the beliefs, and then you're going to have to work through those beliefs, right? That's part of the process. That's part of the journey, right? But you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to remove it. You have to be willing to rewire it so you can really be embodied, right? So you're either going to look back and be proud as hell, or you're going to look back and wish that you would have started. That choice is totally yours. I can't make it for you. Nobody else can make it for you, right? This is on you. And what a beautiful opportunity, right? Not like, oh, this is on you. You have to take it. My gosh, it's all on my shoulders. Like, it's all on my shoulders. Nobody else is responsible for my success in 3 months from now. Nobody else is responsible for how I feel. Nobody else is responsible for how I change and feel differently inside. That's on me. I get to do that. I get to feel that. And that is amazing. And that is a limitless feeling because you know that nothing can stop you. You can do whatever. You can create whatever you want in your life. If you fully believe that you can, it will happen.